what I think people are drawing the connection here is that Pikami did receive pushback for wanting to play Hogwarts Legacy. Marina got quite a bit of, or Marina's discourse, I guess, came back up with the announcement that she got a sponsorship, which essentially means that a trans person got canceled for getting a sponsorship. That's the narrative I like to push. That's my preferred fake narrative. These guys love their own, so let's have our own. Why not? Anyways, let's take a look at how Marina responded, because the video we just watched came out between the time of Glitch's announcement and when Marina's tweet came out. So we can actually give him the benefit of the doubt there. Did he talk about it later? No. Unsurprisingly, he hasn't looked at what Marina's statement is. So we saw a bunch of the detractions, saw their side. Let's take a look at Marina's side. Fun fact, she also went live to go over this herself, and I was in that stream. We're going to be going over a more important part of that stream to me. But we're gonna more or less go over the document. Or I have a document. But I'm just going to call it, this is a twit longer. I'm sorry, Marina, it's a twit longer. But it kind of needs to be, because they're spouting a lot of bullshit at you. Okay, let's take a look at some things then. TLDR, I take a look at some lies being spread that lack evidence and credibility. I'm fully open to criticism and have learned. Oh yeah, this was actually started, or the reason she put that off or put that out was because of this tweet. I personally think people like Marina that refuse to self-reflect, dismiss any bit of criticism as transphobia, and use gender identity as a weapon do more harm than good for transgender and non-binary and queer folks everywhere when they decide to loudly speak for everyone. Sorry. Now, I personally have a disagreement with this, where Marina isn't directly speaking for everyone. She's sharing her opinion as a public figure. That's not speaking for everyone. Though I guess in some ways, no, even with that tweet about, what's it? Saying people shouldn't stream the game to show solidarity with the trans community. That wasn't really speaking for everyone. That was kind of saying, if you want to show your support for these rights, this is a thing to do. I personally have my own issue with it. But that tweet that got sent to her, I don't think it popped up directly on her timeline. I think it was sent to her. I can't remember 100%. But that was actually the catalyst to get her to go over this thread, or create this thread. I'm fully open to criticism from people and have learned a ton across my 3+ years in content creation. Hey, you're longer than me. Seeing another creator support what I have to say. Kurams made a vague post like this, then blocked me without any kind of explanation or attempt at communication is something I would expect from the trolls, but seeing it from someone who I would expect to be more professional is disappointing, to say the least. I don't know who's being referred to in this section specifically, but yeah, if you have a somewhat kind of connection to people and then you disagree with something they say, you should really talk to them privately before, making a tweet about it or whatever. One of Taiga's community DM'd me about it and basically admitted that she didn't platform Taiga's accusers other than sharing the one accusation against him. Yeah, it's straight up what it was. She didn't platform the accuser themselves, she platformed the accusation. Remember, there's a whole thing about separating art and artist. You can also separate the accuser from the accusation. What was I going to get into? Or what was I saying? Yeah, when you actually have somebody that you see somewhat regularly, and then out of nowhere they just kind of block you, and then start beg posting about it. It's kind of underhanded, kind of sus. You should really just, if you have a problem with somebody, DM them, talk about it, rather than potentially starting community-wide drama or community-wide discourse. For those unaware, over the past few days, I have been getting brigaded by various people in the lolicon community and just general bad actors / trolls. This was sparked by someone who has a long history of being problematic, Melia the Maid. I haven't covered Melia the Maid on stream before, but I am vaguely aware. I don't think I've been in direct contact with them, but like, I'm not their biggest fan. I've heard some bad things. They're on the Vtuber blacklist. If you want to go check that one out. I don't know if she has or they have properly condemned previous bad behavior, but I'm always willing to give people a chance, show them time to grow, and I do have a little spoilerino for what happens in the stream. I'm hoping for the best with this right now. So that's where I'll leave it with Melia the Maid. In a recent tweet, they said, when it comes to Marina, someone who celebrated getting my account suspended 2 times on here, I make exceptions. I'll be sure to make his life a living hell staying within the TOS. That was what? Was that since? Yeah, that was since deleted. Okay, so that was retracted from Melia. Or it seems that way anyways. And right there, it's directly misgendering Marina, which, by the way, if you haven't seen her VTuber, this is what she looks like. Anybody get teacher vibes from that? Me either. When it comes to many of the people that come in from this community, the main intention from them is to harass and cause harm by any means necessary. This is seen through lies and mischaracterizations, slurs and misgendering, and harassing others that question the lack of evidence or irrelevance of the screenshots they do provide. The general behavior and bad faith interactions of the majority of these people are the reason I refer to them as trolls. Regardless of being trolls, let's take a look at some of the talking points that get shared. Number 1, Marina harassed people for playing Hogwarts Legacy. Yay, Hogwarts. Yay. During the early months of this year, I was very outspoken about my views on Hogwarts Legacy, my perspective as a trans creator, and my thoughts about whether or not people should stream the game. I expressed the idea that I felt promotion of the game by other content creators was harmful to the trans community. I made generalized posts about the topic and expressed my appreciation for allies who stood in solidarity and refused to stream / promote the game. I expressed my disagreement on a few people's posts. Expressing disagreement or disapproval is not harassment, and I never crossed that line. Sometimes I might have been snarky, but I never encouraged or took part in any harassment. If any snarkiness hurt anyone's feelings, I would apologize, but I have yet to ever have anyone tell me they felt personally harassed by anything I ever said to them. And personally, my definition of harassment is over let's see, how was I going to phrase that? Like, with content creators generally, or large VTubers, large creators, large public figures, any sort of clashing between other creators is going to cause your audience to also clash with them. That is unavoidable, no matter what. Yeah, no matter what. It's just a part of being a public figure. People look up to you and they do what they want to defend you when things go bad. It's just kind of how people are. It's a passive weaponization of your audience just to disagree with somebody. So does that mean they shouldn't express any opinions whatsoever? Some people would argue yes. I would argue no. If you want to actually call something harassment, I would say it has to be targeted to the specific individual over a wide variety of time, and it's disproportionate to the thing that they're responding to. Like, I wouldn't say that just insulting somebody for having a bad argument is harassment. Like, if you call them stupid for having a bad argument, that's not harassment. If you say they should gamer themselves for having a bad argument, well, I mean, it depends on the argument at that point. But it's contextual. I just think with non-public figures, there's definitely a lower standard for harassment, but since public figures are on such a big scale with their audiences, you kind of need a higher standard. Otherwise, anytime any creator disagrees with another one, it's just harassment. The one screenshot that has been shared as evidence of harassment was a response I had to a creator that was posting about how they were going to play the game, but their community had previously expressed their disapproval. They had talked about how they were going to play the game as a way to rise above the negativity they had received. This was my reply. I'm confused how you think you're the victim here. You expressed interest, thus promoting something to you following in something that harms the trans community, and people express their concern or issues. It's copium to think there is nothing wrong with streaming it. We talked about this in the video we watched earlier. It's not harassment, it's snarky. I think it's fine to say it's copium to have a position I disagree with and think is dumb. While I was upset, the use of copium definitely comes across as snarky, I still think the harassment label is a gross mischaracterization of the response. The screenshot also purposefully takes the tweet out of context and fails to include any of the messages following, where I said I thought they had every right to play the game, and I literally said, you don't deserve any harassment, no one does. You have every right to stream anything you want, but we also have the right to unfollow or express displeasure. Your community is shaped by the content you choose to make. Hope you understand throwing some money at a trans charity doesn't undo the harm from promoting the game. It also doesn't fix your safe space becoming unsafe for trans people. I've respected you a long time as a content creator, so I'm just trying to be direct. Which is understandable. They made a public statement, and Marina made a public response. These are replies. My thing is, again, I don't think there was direct harm coming from just promoting the game. I think there could have been ways to have people that actually played Hogwarts Legacy on stream while pushing pro-trans talking points, while pointing out anti-Semitism depicted in the game, or whatever problematic traits were in there. I don't remember anymore. I just know it did actually have some problematic stuff, but I personally don't think it led to any direct harm to the trans community. Honestly, I think if we had Hasanabi say or play Hogwarts Legacy on stream while talking about pro-trans stuff, that could have gotten a lot of potential people to start listening to pro-trans arguments. But his community convinced him not to. That's the first one. You don't deserve any harassment. No one does. I hope you decide to stream, or I hope you decide not to stream the game anymore, as that's an issue. Being harassed by people is wrong, but doesn't create a valid reason to stream the game, which is the issue here and now. Fun fact, there's a Das Kapital Dojin. Really? I need to see this. You don't deserve death threats. I just feel the framing of the twit longer to preempt playing Hogwarts Legacy comes off as a way to excuse it, and through being a victim of some really unfortunate and bad stuff. Streaming promotes it, and that's a separate issue. Personally, I disagree with her takes, but here's the thing. None of this is contributing to harassment. It's clearly showing that she's saying that she doesn't promote it. And honestly, from what I've seen of her community as a orbiter, mostly outside, it's kind of seen as a derogatory term to some communities, but I'm not using it in a derogatory way right now, but I get the vibe there's a lot of tender queers in there. That meaning there's a lot of people that are fairly sensitive to a lot of things. There's nothing wrong with being sensitive, but they don't really project a aura of volatility towards other people. I more of get the vibe from her community that they think about other people's emotional states, if that makes sense. For further clarification, no one has provided any proof of me harassing a single person or encouraging anyone else to do so. Screenshots of me disagreeing are trying to be passed off as harassment. Yeah, they're trying to draw the connection between you endorsed the Hogwarts Legacy boycott and the point of there were trans activists that actively sent death threats to people over the game. And it's like, they're not the exact same thing, you guys. Leave Marina alone about this. Marina doxed people. I've never doxed anyone. As a content creator, that would be incredibly unprofessional and goes against everything I stand for. I have also never encouraged anyone else to dox anyone. No evidence of this has ever been shown. I think the connection here is that there were apparently some VTubers that got doxed during the Hogwarts Legacy stuff. Like, apparently some big VTubers got doxed, but I never saw any dox. I don't even know who claims that they got doxed during that. Like, please show the evidence over somebody getting doxed over Hogwarts Legacy. I'm not surprised that people had been, but who? Who? Marina encouraged people to harass others. Again, no, I've never done this, and no evidence has ever been shown. Once again, Marina harassed Pikami. I've never had anything but positive interactions with the former VTuber Pikami. I didn't even know that there was anything going on with her regarding playing Hogwarts Legacy. I wouldn't have gotten involved even if I was aware. Again, no proof has ever been shown of me being involved in any harassment of Pikami. I'm happy the talent is still around as a new VTuber today. I'm glad the talent stuck around. What I think people are drawing the connection here is that Pikami did receive pushback for wanting to play Hogwarts Legacy. She got some people in her chat calling her a transphobe. Apparently there were death threats to her as well. And then there are people saying that she was harassed into graduating. If she really was harassed into graduating, I would love to hear the explanation of this.
I think I got a headache because I was crying today. So yeah, I always get a headache after that. I did know in advance about this, but
yeah, this statement this statement came out, I believe, after or around Pikami's graduation. This is a fellow Vtuber at the same company that Pikami worked for.
because she did message me a while ago before she went on her break, and she said,
Right. If I remember the timeline correctly, Pikami was on hiatus for a while, and then when she was coming back, one of the games she wanted to stream was Hogwarts Legacy, so she got some pushback on that. And there are people saying that pushback caused her to graduate. And then this statement comes out.
she was like, I wanted to tell you beforehand. So, you know, I felt I don't know, grateful, I guess, that she considered me in telling about it so early.
Yeah, Pikami told Pomu months in advance. The music is sweet though. I like it. Cute model.
Sorry.
That's what I thought.
Cowabunga!
To my knowledge, Pomu and Pikami were actually pretty close, and there were a lot of people that were very. They didn't want Pikami to graduate. They enjoyed Pikami's content. It's a good thing that she rebranded. She's still around.
Was oh god, Nina, don't raid me right now. Oh fuck. I'm crying. It's okay, sorry. Sorry, I know I'm not being very professional right now.
You're being
I
human.
just, you know, I've gone through this so many times, but I just
From what I've seen regarding Pikami's graduation, it's been a lot of positive, like from the people that give me the impression that they were part of her community.
But you know, I'm always
the people that give me the impression that they were actually a part of Pikami's community, given the kind of stuff, like the clips I've seen of Pikami, it's been positivity stuff. Love each other kind of thing. And then I see a bunch of these people that push the remember what they took from you narrative. And then after a certain VTuber joined the scene again, it's changed into remember what they couldn't take from you. But yeah, this short little video confirms that Pikami was planning on graduating before the Hogwarts Legacy stuff. There are people since this video, or since Pomu had talked about it on stream, they changed their narrative to they changed it to the harassment sped up Pikami's graduation, which is non-falsifiable. We can't prove it one way or another. They just want to stick to their narrative. Marina harassed Silvervale. Same as Pikami, I never harassed or encouraged harassment. No proof has ever been shown of me being involved in any harassment. Again, this ties back to the Hogwarts Legacy stuff, where they're trying to stick anything that so-called trans activists did during the Hogwarts Legacy stuff to anybody that had promoted it back then. And I have a pretty close friend that has actually been watching Silvervale since before the Hogwarts Legacy stuff came out. And I'd ask them, let me see if my impression of Silvervale is correct and in line with yours, because me and him agree on a lot more than I actually expected. He is a great guy, very critical thinker, and my impression was that Silvervale built up her community as a comfy streamer. She wanted to be the escape that, or the place that people can escape to stop worrying about their lives. And then Hogwarts Legacy came out, a game that was about one of her favorite franchises from when she was a child. So she got really excited. And then a lot of people in her community who just happened to be trans or trans allies started saying, I wouldn't feel comfortable in your community if you did playing this game. And then Silvervale, being a genuine person wanting to be that comfort streamer, actually genuinely got upset that there were potentially long-standing members of her community that were saying she's no longer a comfy streamer. So she got emotional and said some things that she might have regretted since then, but I haven't seen any statements about how she feels about the term Twitter freaks now. And I tried to find the full VOD where she coined the term Twitter freaks. If anybody can send that to me, please do. But we're not really here to talk about Silvervale. We're here to talk about Marina. Number 6, Marina celebrated a trans shooter. Hey, I got this accusation against me too. She may not have meant Twitter freaks as trans people before, but it definitely means that now. Yeah, like, I want to know how Silvervale feels about the term Twitter freaks now, with how it's being so broadly applied to, like, progressive people. What I saw in the whole Silvervale debacle was the one scene from this video in which Anakin attacks Obi-Wan, but it's dubbed over and Obi-Wan calls him a fucking idiot. Okie dokie, you go sleep, Tiberius. There's going to be the full video out later in the week. Okay, trans shooter. I don't know if anyone has ever really thought this would be untrue, but no. I would never celebrate a shooter. This is usually tied to a charity event I had planned for Trans Lifeline that was planned months in advance. It was extremely unfortunate that such a horrific event took place in the week before the charity stream, but the planned event had nothing to do with the shooting. That is part of it. There was also a lot of people that were talking about the trans shooter that, like myself included, were saying people are going to make this about trans people or make it a trans people problem instead of a mass shooter problem. Don't let them. And then on that exact thread, they did. They ignored it. And it's like, you really, one of the replies I got directly was, "Are you really going to compete for biggest victim with literal murdered children?" And it's like, yeah, that was the fucking point of the thread. Yeah, it's a bad faith argument against her. Again, throwing anything at the wall, seeing what sticks. Marina is a teacher and sexualizes being a teacher. I used to be a teacher, but I am not currently one. I am actually very uncomfortable with any serious teacher-student role play, as I am with anything that involves children or child-coded elements. I don't have any elements in my content where I sexualize myself as a teacher, implying a sexual student-teacher dynamic. I do run an educational stream for sex ed, but this doesn't have anything to do with school children and uses a bar background as well. Howdy, Fluff. I will also clarify that the use of a classroom or teacher is not something I have any issues with for other content creators in the situations where the teacher is an adult and student/audience are also adults. Adult school existing along with college and university. Yep, this is very true. There's adult education that's like, if you weren't able to finish high school, but you're too old to go back to high school now, there's courses for you. Okay, now we get on to the Taiga stuff. Marina spread untrue rumors about Taiga. Last year, I expressed my disgust at some Discord DMs that were released involving the creator Taiga discussing underage boys. I expressed that I didn't think he belonged in the community, with this feeling based solely on the screenshots and the overall dislike for his content themed around the sexualization of childlike boys. This was my opinion, that I believe I am free to have. I never accused Taiga of having been convicted in or taking part in any pedophilic activity with an actual person. My issues were with the things being said and shown in these screenshots. For additional context to readers, I shared the original document that these screenshots came from. This was as to not share things out of context. Over the past year, I have heard that the author of the document was a problematic individual as well, but there has been no proof provided that any of the original Discord DM screenshots that I were disgusted by were fake or doctored or in any way. If the document author was problematic, it doesn't make the original screenshots any less gross to me or suddenly make them fake. In an exoneration document that released by someone who seems essentially anonymous, it doesn't say that Taiga ever said the DMs were fake. A couple were said to just be jokes, but all DMs were confirmed to be authentic. I am fully aware that Taiga and any creator is responsible for their content, and it is up to social media platforms to decide if they are in violation of any terms of service. I simply think the things they have said and done are gross, and think their content is gross. That is my opinion on the content. I am not making any libelous statements. And a lot of people use the word libel or slander wrong, because it's not slander if I believe it, Draco. For clarification, I have expressed my opinion that I don't think Taiga belongs in the VTuber community, and literally anyone is free to agree or disagree with me, but I have never accused them of any crime. The retweeting or sharing of another person's document is not an endorsement of their character or support of them. It's simply linking information. If the author of any document is problematic, I stand firmly against their problematic actions and will disavow any information that is proven untrue. Love when an exoneration doc literally just proves that was initially said, right? Hey, I'm going to exonerate myself by proving it was fake. or proving it was real. For documentation and transparency, I will link the former tweet, but in the interest of being done with this headache, I will be deleting that original Taiga thread as it has been around for over a year and I think I have said my piece. I will do this in a week. This will be the final time I will ever address this. And I don't blame her for not addressing this further. But yes, this is the original tweet that she linked. Or this is the original call out, I guess. I'm gonna hang on to this. Oh, hey, look! That document was taken down. Neat. Hopefully this does a good job of explaining things to anyone in my community that may have been confused or concerned. Am I perfect? No. Do I make mistakes? Absolutely. Regarding these addressed rumors, I think I've done my best given the various situations. I don't pretend to speak for all trans people, but I will never stop speaking up for the ones that lack a platform and support the things I fight for. I'm always open to people who will approach me with criticism in good faith. I will continue to stand my ground against trolls and transphobia. But if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask me. Mutuals can DM if they like. Bad faith comments and trolls will be hidden and blocked per usual. Now, I typically take a stand against, or like, I'm okay with people blocking anybody. It's your platform. It's how you engage with Twitter. You curate it how you want. Block anybody that you want. It doesn't matter. It's okay. If you think a person is a problem, you can block them. It's kind of why that feature's there. The thing is, a lot of this, or a big part of, where was it? No, at the bottom. This original thing that actually I don't think was quite addressed in here, but with the engagement of just blocking the obvious trolls and bad faith actors, and then just pointing out, and only pointing out that it's transphobia, because, I mean, it is transphobia, but if that's all you're doing, it does come across to, I guess, fence sitters, let's go with. It comes across that that's what you're doing. Dismissing criticism as transphobia and, you know, using your gender identity as a weapon. But I don't think that's what she actually did here. What she did here is actually what I think you should do, is you should actually have some kind of, you know that Simpsons meme, don't make me tap the sign? Have a tap the sign thing for your controversies that are like, no, like for your controversies, because this stuff will come back. This stuff against Marina will come back. The harassment, they're not going to forget. They're not going to believe this document, or they're not going to believe Marina's statement. They're just going to keep going with their narratives. They're not going to look into it. So you want to have something to point to when there are those people that keep going around saying Marina is a harasser, Marina is a doxer, all that stuff. You have a actual statement from yourself regarding those claims. It's a good thing to have. And I personally think that engaging with people with the dissenting opinion is a great thing to do. So, funny thing is, this has all been a preamble. It's been an hour and a half of preamble to get to the thing that I really, really wanted to react to talk about. And that was how the stream went where Marina covered it live. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe for more content, and if you want to join the community, feel free to check out the Discord. I love to voice chat in there, so if you want to ever talk, I'm usually available. Well, in the afternoons.